Okay, welcome to the Board of Directors meeting of the Environmental Facilities Corporation. It is Thursday, February 15th, 11:30 on the dot. Madam Secretary, could you call a roll, please?
Certainly. Chair Stefanko.
Here.
Director Westerman. Here. Director Leary.
Here.
Director Corcoran.
Here.
Director DeMarquis.
Here.
And I note for the record that Directors Krasansky and Zarofsky cannot join us today, but we do have a quorum of the board.
Great. Okay, first item of business is approval of the draft minutes from the January 18th board meeting. All members were present, so everyone minus Charlie and Adam. Any discussion before we move to a motion in a second? Great, I'll take that motion in a second.
I'll make the motion.
Yeah, I'll second.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Vita and Christine. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. I have nothing to report, so we'll move right to Madam President.
Just one thing, and we shared with the board that we have made available $325 million for WIA and IMG grants. Around the application deadline is June 14th. So it's a long application period this time. So we're hoping to get some maybe folks applying that haven't in the past. Our CATS teams, our community assistance teams, are going to be reaching out to smaller communities, rural communities, disadvantaged communities to try to help them get applications in. This is the first round of putting forward the proposal that the governor made in the 2024, mentioned in the 2024 State of the State book about increasing the grants from 25% to 50% of costs for small, rural, and disadvantaged communities for the clean water grants from 25% to 50%. We also were looking at scoring criteria. So even if you're not hardship, you can get 25 to 50% if you're 3,500 or below population and you're a hardship community, or if the project would result in rates at 1.5% of your MHI. So if you don't meet the hardship, you still hopefully have a more competitive grant application for the 25%, because we were looking at the scoring criteria and we want to get folks that maybe don't have a consent order or violating and having those water quality concerns right now, but that have a schedule in their speedies permit from DEC, or they're taking septics and moving them to a system, or doing other things that are important and to keep them from having a water quality violation, and that make those applications more competitive for these smaller communities. So we wanted to first get them larger grants, because very small communities at 25% isn't enough to get them over the line to be able to afford a project. And then also to get some communities that are doing the right thing and that have to do certain things because they're required to by DEC or otherwise, and haven't yet gotten to a consent order, that they can be competitive against those folks that are actually have some severe water quality violations. So that those applications are out now. And like I said, we'll be reaching out and trying to get some good applications and some folks we haven't seen before.
Madam President, just could you comment on, how do you know, I mean, I know you know some of those rural communities that are in that criteria brackets that you just discussed, because you said you're reaching out to more rural communities, so you have that. So you have a lot that especially with consent orders. So you have ways of targeting, who are the best applicants in this as well, yeah?
Yes, well, and first we can certainly look at those that are population is 35 and under, 3,500 and under, right? So we'll be looking at those folks, and we can then target it even more by knowing who has, we know who has consent orders, we know who's got schedules in their speedies permits that they have to comply with at a certain schedule of things that they have to do for maybe nutrient removal or disinfection or whatever. So certain things that they need to do. So we can, there's lots of folks we can reach out, and we'll just going out, we'll do webinars, and we'll go out also just out there into the communities with not just EFC, but EFC, DOH, DOS, HCR, DEC, and continuing our regular CATS meetings too, and getting out there and getting the word out about these grants.
That's great. It's like our tentacles are getting even finer into the communities that need it. So good luck on the road shows.
Thanks.
Good, great, thank you. We have no committees met this month. No unfinished business that I'm aware of, so unless anyone has anything they want to raise, we'll move right to resolutions. Okay, resolution number 1.
A resolution of the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation making certain determinations and authorizing certain actions in connection with the Drinking Water State Revolving Fund, and authorizing financial assistance payments to certain municipalities to fund eligible drinking water projects from funds appropriated for water infrastructure improvement projects.
Okay, could I have a motion and a second, please?
Motion.
Thanks, Jim. For a sec.
I'll second.
Thank you, Vita. David Phillips will be presented.
Okay, thank you. There's 3 drinking water projects today. First one is for the village of Franklinville in Cattaraugus County. This project will be receiving a WIA grant and a short-term market rate financing. The project includes improvements to their existing north and south well houses. In the north well house, upgrades include providing piping and looping to provide adequate chlorine contact time for proper disinfection. At the south well house, the work includes relocating an existing generator from its current location in a below grade structure to an appropriate location above the flood zone. Both wells include improvements or replacements of pump motors, flow meters, and telemetry systems. The project also includes replacement of 30,000 linear feet of water main that is severely aged and undersized. This will help the village extremely because currently they lose up to 80% of their water through leaks, breaks, and other unaccounted for water. Next project is for the town of Herman in St. Lawrence County. This project is getting money from lots of different sources, including Bill General Supplemental Grant and interest-free loan, WIA grant, and interest-free loan and short-term market rate loan through the DWSRF. This project will, number one, will develop an existing spring, that's spring number 5, into a usable and protected source. Currently, the spring exists, but it's not used as a public water supply, and it's not properly protected. So it'll be properly protected, which will protect nearby springs, which are public water supplies, from contamination. And then it'll also enable that new spring number 5 to be used for additional source capacity. The project also includes installation of a new redundant transmission main from those springs to the existing treatment plant. The existing transmission main is currently very old. It's difficult to access, and parts of it are above ground, so subject to freezing. The project also includes treatment plant improvements. Those include upgrades or replacements of pumps, piping, valves, chlorine feed system, and the SCADA system. And last but not least, the project includes replacement of all water mains in the entire distribution system. It's about 25,000 linear feet. That also includes all valves, hydrants, and service meters. These water mains, for the most part, are well over 100 years old, are severely oversized, and are prone to breaks and leaks. And the final project is for the Niagara County Water District in Niagara County. This is for a WIA grant. This project will replace the existing 1.2 million gallon backwash water tank at their existing treatment plant with a new similarly sized glass lined steel tank. The existing tank is over 30 years old and is at the end of its useful life. And this tank is critical in the treatment process in that it provides finished water for use in the backwash process that's used to backwash and clean the filters. That's it. Any questions on any of those?
That's a lot of linear feet.
It is.
I love hearing about the linear feet. I can't believe 80%.
That's what I was just gonna say. I was gonna say 80% Franklinville, crazy.
Yeah. It's an old system.
Can't get that going and soon enough.
All right. Nothing further. All those in favor of ID number 4 or 1? Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. ID number 2.
A resolution of the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation amending prior authorizations for financial assistance to be provided by the corporation to certain recipients in connection with the Clean Water State Revolving Fund.
Okay, can I have a motion and a second, please, of ID number 2?
So moved.
Thanks, Francis.
I'll second.
Thank you, Christine. Rebecca Walker will present.
Thank you. We also have 3 amendments today for clean water projects. The first project is with the town of Canandaigua in Allegheny County. This project consists of installation of new chlorine disinfection system at the town's wastewater treatment plant. We're seeking authorization to amend the current short-term financing to account for increased project costs of approximately $920,000. That would be covered with an increase in short-term interest refinancing of $490,000 and a recent 2023 WIA grant award of $430,000. The increased costs are due to higher than expected bids, largely attributed to inflation. Construction began last summer and it's expected to be completed later this year before the current maturity date of 2027. The second project is the Village of Dundee in Yates County. This project consists of wastewater treatment plant and collection system improvements aimed at improving water quality in Big Stream and Seneca Lake. Improvements include increasing the design capacity of the plant to 0.6 million gallons per day and decommissioning the wet weather flow equipment and stabilization pond. We're seeking authorization to extend the maturity date 18 months to September 26, 2025. The project was delayed when the village decided to pursue additional co-funding to help cover increased costs. The village was successful in securing a USDA Rural Development Grant in late 2022, but this pushed the rebid of construction to March of 2023. And the village anticipates project completion in early 2025. And the last project is the Village of Suffern in Rockland County. This project consists of various upgrades to the village's wastewater treatment plant. We're seeking authorization to amend the financing to reflect a funding increase of approximately $1.5 million. Financing will also be extended to December 31st, 2025, which is within the 5-year maturity period previously authorized by the board. The increased funding and time is needed to finish construction of a replacement UV disinfection system. When the project was designed 5 years ago, the existing system was performing sufficiently, but since that time, the 40-year-old system has reached the end of its useful life. Proposed work includes installation of 2 non-contact UV units, 3 vertical turbine pipes and control panels housed in prefabricated stainless steel enclosures. The work is expected to be completed by fall of 2025. Any questions?
Thank you. I was thinking about this on the last one too. How's the supply chain going, especially with all that linear feet and, increased cost from inflation? Are we getting our materials now? How's that? What's the reflection on that?
In general, it seems to be getting better with some exceptions. I've heard switchgear and some electrical equipment still have long lead time, largely due to the war in Ukraine.
Yeah.
But As far as inflation goes, I think that's more known, but it's still an issue. There's a lot of work out there for the number of contractors and the amount of supplies available.
That's, yeah, so we're still seeing that, but to a lesser extent, but it's still a factor in our costs going up. Gotcha. Thank you.
Anything further? Okay, I'll take a vote on ID number 2. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. ID number 3.
A resolution of the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation making certain determinations and authorizing certain actions in connection with the Clean Water State Revolving Fund and authorizing financial assistance payments to certain municipalities to fund eligible clean water projects from funds appropriated for water infrastructure improvement projects.
Thank you, Kate. Could I have a motion and a second?
I'll make the motion.
A lot of hands up. Thanks for keeping Okay, Bill Frisell will present.
All right, good morning. I've got 8 projects today, clean water projects before the board. The first is Buffalo Sewer Authority in Erie County. This is authorization to add bill grant to an existing financing with the Buffalo Sewer Authority. Buffalo has a 180 million gallon per day plant with a peak flow of 400 million gallons per day. Was originally built in the 1930s and has seen a number of upgrades over time. This project will expand the capacity of the aeration tanks to be able to handle the peak flow of 400 million gallons per day that the plant sometimes sees. And because it serves the city of Buffalo, this project serves an environmental justice area and disadvantaged community. Construction is expected to be completed in July of 2026. And next, I'll quickly mention the town of Canandaigua in Allegheny County. Rebecca had talked about this project under the previous ID. This ID includes the $430,000 WIA grant. All right. Next is the town of Hume in Allegheny County. This is a short-term financing, short-term interest-free financing of $2.4 million and a $816,000 WIA grant, along with a $1 million market rate financing to pre-finance a WQIP grant. Through this project, the town of Hume is getting out of the wastewater treatment business. They're going to be decommissioning their treatment plant, upgrading a pump station and building a force main to send their flow to the town of Canandaigua for treatment. Town of Hume had a history of non-compliance with their treatment plant and was going to be required to add disinfection. So they took this opportunity to take another course of action. Next, we have the village of Ilion in Herkimer County. This project is just over $7 million long-term interest-free financing. The village of Ilion owns and operates a sanitary sewer system, a collection system that was constructed about 100 years ago. The flows are conveyed to the Herkimer County Sewer District for treatment. The village has historically observed high flows in the collection system during wet weather, and they've done a lot of work to identify sources of I&I. Through this project, the village replaced 46 manholes, repaired 343 manholes, replaced over 6,100 linear feet of gravity sewer, and did slip lining of over 98,000 linear feet of sewer lines. Project serves a environmental justice area and will help protect water quality in the Mohawk River. This project also had an engineering planning grant from 2017. Construction was completed in 2022. Next, we have the town of Lyons in Wayne County. This is a bill project, a $2.1 million bill grant, along with a $804,000 WIA grant. This is the first WIA grant funded through the Bond Act. and then an $804,000 interest-free financing, short-term interest-free financing. Town of Lyons is required to add disinfection to their treatment plant, and the town is also making some other upgrades at the treatment plant through this project. Project was supported with an engineering planning grant from 2018 and is expected to be complete this coming November. Next, we have the Village of Medina in Orleans County. It's a long-term interest-free financing for just over $4.3 million. The project had also included a WIA grant from 2018. Village of Medina owns and operates a treatment plant permitted for 4.5 million gallons per day. A lot of the equipment at the plant was past its useful life and was replaced through this project. The village also had a hydraulic capacity limitation in their collection system, and they installed 2,200 linear feet of new forced main and upgraded a pump station to get past this hydraulic limitation. The project was supported with an engineering planning grant from 2016, and construction was completed in September of 2022. Next, we have 2019 WIA grant for the Village of Mount Kisco in Westchester County. It's a $2.375 million WIA grant. The Village of Mount Kisco owns and operates their sanitary collection system, which conveys flow to a pump station, the Sawmill River Pump Station, which pumps to Westchester County's Yonkers wastewater treatment plant. This project will upgrade the pump station and replace the trunk sewer. The existing trunk sewer is an 18-inch wood stave pipe and be replaced with a 24-inch ductile iron pipe. Project serves an environmental justice area and a disadvantaged community, and construction is expected to be completed by the end of 2025. Excuse me. Lastly, we have the City of Utica in Oneida County. This requested authorization here is $274,000 long-term interest-free financing. This project had also previously received a WIA grant. City of Utica has a combined sewer system that was constructed over 100 years ago, and the city originally was required to upgrade this combined sewer overflow so that any water being discharged into the Mohawk River would be disinfected before it was discharged. But because of other work that the city had done in recent years, they were able to eliminate this outfall altogether. It's a good win for the environment, a good win for the City of Utica. And construction was completed in March of 2021. Are there any questions?
Yeah, if you could you just go over the Canadilla one again?
Canadilla was an amendment to we added a $430,000 WIA grant. That was 2023 WIA grant. They had just been awarded in September, and then their costs had gone up, so we were increasing the amount of the short-term interest-free financing.
Got it. Thank you.
Haven't seen a municipal consolidation in a while. Is it something we're still looking to pursue and push?
It's in our engineering report outline as something that everyone needs to look at. In this case, it made sense for them to do. If the communities are 8 miles apart, they might push back about looking at it, but we asked the question.
Great.
That once in a while.
Nice.
Yeah.
Anything further? Right. Take a vote on ID number 3. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay. Unless there's any new business anyone would like to raise, I would like to call for a motion to enter into executive session to discuss matters related to litigation in accordance with Section 105(1)(d) of the Open Meetings Law. Upon conclusion of that session, we will adjourn. So we won't be coming back. I have
Mr.
no
Chairman,
voices.
I'll make a motion that we move into executive session for the purposes of discussing litigation.
Thank you, Francis.
Second.
Second, thank you, Vita. We don't need to vote on that, correct? You do need to vote? Okay. All those in favor of entering executive session? Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. We will, we are entering executive session now then.